Welcome to It Takes Two. I am Christopher. I am one half of the It Takes Two show. Blair's not here with us today, right? Blair has some things to attend to, so she said, you know what? I'm going to take the day off, and Chris, you stay and work. I said, wait a minute, I can't go with you? She said, no. I said, okay. So I got my special guest here with me, Blair Bear. Blair Bear has helped me before when Blair has been absent. So Blair Bear, I'm going to need a lot of help from you today, okay? All right, listen, we are going to review season 11, episode 12 of Love Island UK. I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. Let's get into this. So Will and Samantha went to talk alone. Samantha asked Will, what is his type? What is your type, Will? Because that is actually a good question. And I'm actually more interested why Samantha's asking Will, what is his type, right? He says usually it's pretty blondes, you know what I mean? Like someone with a pretty face. We heard Will say this before. He asks her, so like, what's going on with your situation? Are you open? Are you closed off? Like, what's going on? She says, oh, I'm open. I'm very open. And he asks her, like, you know, am I more your type than Joey? She said, yes. Now, here's the thing that is very interesting. Seeing how Joey reacted in the last episode with the game and everything, seeing how he was high-fiving the guys, having a good time. He had a three-way kiss with Tiffany and Grace. Of course, Samantha is feeling like Joey don't like her because at the end of the day, Joey do not like her. But let's keep going. So we move on to Kieran and Jess, right? Jess calls Harriet the B word. I'm like, Jess. You chose not to be with the guy. So why you keep criticizing Harriet? Like, you could have chose Ronnie if you was going to do all this. But she calls Harriet the B word, and she begins to brag about herself, saying, listen here, if no one is talking about you, you don't matter at all. In my opinion, I think Jess is very intimidated by Harriet. Because whenever it comes to Harriet or whenever it comes to Jess, she always says, I'm the prize. It's almost like she's trying to convince herself while trying to convince us. I don't see a prize. I see someone who is a loser who lost the prize and trying to convince themselves that, you know what, I ain't want that anyway. But, you know, let's move on. So we see Ronnie talking to Tiffany on the beds outside on the other side of the villa, and he's flirting in his usual Ronnie way. You know how Ronnie is, very laid back. Tiffany is saying that she's going to talk to everyone. Look, I just got here. I'm a bombshell. I'm going to spread myself around to everybody just to get a feel of everybody. And Ronnie, on the other hand, he's telling her, like, basically, like, I enjoyed the game. And he started complimenting her on the kiss that they had in the game, right? And then we go over to the next scene to where Will pulls Jess aside, right? Will asks, who is she coupled up with? She says, Sean, you know, because that's how she feels about Sean, you know, but she says she's missing the sexual attraction to Sean. She goes on and she basically says, Blair Bear, the things that you don't want to hear a woman say, you know, things like he's nice, he's respectful, you know, he treats my mama nice, but it's that but that we don't want to hear. You know what I mean? So she's basically going, she's complimenting Sean, but she's like, it's just like, you know, he's just a boy. You know, he's a sweet boy. If I was Sean, I don't want nobody else calling me a sweet boy on this show, right? So she basically said the sexual attraction is not there for Sean. And Will is basically flirting with her, saying, well, you know, you need a man, and I'm a man. Will said that to Jess. He said, you need a man, and I'm a man. And Jess is there basically flirting back like, oh, you a man. I need a man, huh? Right? And then, you know, they begin to flirt. And all I could think about during the scene is poor Sean. But at the end of the day, I can't feel bad for Sean because I have a mantra that I want to get off and let people know, get the boys off the island, right? Sean, I understand you coming in last. I hope you could genuinely like somebody first without coming in kind of like Superman trying to play, you know, Mr. Nice Guy, trying to get somebody sloppy seconds. Sean, you need to man up. And I don't want to say mark your territory because these are people, but in some way, flex your muscle, man. Like, yo, you talking to my lady, man. I like her. I have interest in her. I gave her coffee. You know what I mean? Like, flex your muscle. You letting this new bombshell come in basically saying you need a man and I'm a man. It is what it is, man. Let's keep going. Right? So Joey is with Tiffany at the kitchen bar. They have chairs with coffee. I think they like have coffee in like their hand. They have like these styrofoam cups. Ronnie and Harriet is literally across from them, right? Ronnie said tonight was the best game. Tiffany hears them because they like really across from each other. Tiffany is like, why? Because you kissed me? Ronnie says yes and starts laughing, like, you know, like in his like cackling way. Harriet gets up and walk off. And Joey tries to stop, but he's like, stop, Harriet, stop, Harriet. He's just joking around. He's just messing around. And Harriet's like, no, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's funny how they always say it's not even that. She walks off. She goes and talks to Uma, saying like, Ronnie just keeps embarrassing me and things like that. Like don't do that to me. I think these women need to understand the guy that they are with. You like Ronnie because he's a bad guy, because he's a mystery, because he's a flirt, right? Because he seems like he's for everybody. The same way as you feel that sexual attraction that Jess was talking about, you have to like accept that, hey, he's going to flirt with everybody. That's the thing that attracted you to him, right? So let's keep going. Everybody is getting ready for bed. Ronnie said about Tiffany while all the guys is coming in the room. He said, man, Tiffany might be the one. You know, Ronnie, you know, he's just setting him up. Joey is talking to Grace while she's brushing her teeth, saying, me and Samantha get along, but in a friendly way. And then Samantha randomly is setting up her bed outside. She's deciding tonight I'm going to sleep outside in the day beds. Joey sees her outside. He goes like to his room, like, where's Samantha? She outside getting herself ready to go to bed outside in the day beds. He's like, what the hell you doing? You're taking it too far. It was just a game. Samantha says she's not mad. She's mad, right? Joey is like, then if you're not mad, then come inside. She said, you know what? I'm just going to give you space to rekindle things with Grace, you know? Like I'm feeling like a third wheel and like I'm just going to sleep out here. Joey is like, you're doing too much. You're bringing too much attention to this. It was just a game. And Joey, I understand what you're saying, but you're lying to this woman. You know you do not feel Samantha. You know you have no interest in Samantha. You know Samantha is just a fan to you, and you know you are feeling Grace more, right? Of course, everybody goes to bed, and what do we see in the night cam? Ronnie and Harriet is kissing under the covers again. That's the thing. That's why Ronnie feels like he can do whatever he wants to do during the day. That's why Ronnie feels like he can sit in the day beds and literally not move from a spot. And the women would come up to him, they would yell at him, or they would give him deadlines, or they would flirt with him. Because at the end of the night, you're going to kiss him. At the end of the night, you want him to touch you. You get what I'm saying? Right? So it's the next morning, and Ronnie is telling the guys that, hey, somebody was kissing last night. And, you know, he doing his little eyebrows thing like it was me, you know. Will is basically telling people, hey, my eyes are set on Uma. Like I know who I'm going to shoot for now. And I'm going for Uma. Joey, Sean, and Ronnie are talking outside, and he is saying what Samantha did was so unnecessary. Joey is telling Sean and Ronnie that, like, yo, sleeping outside in the day bed, like why are you doing that? Like it's nothing. You basically making a mountain out of a molehill. At the same time, Samantha's having this conversation in the vanity room, right, talking to Mimi and Harriet, saying that she feels like she did the right thing sleeping outside in the day beds, right? She's like, look, I during this time with Joey, it has felt like pulling teeth, right? I don't feel like a priority. I feel like he don't like me. I feel like he has no interest, right? Mimi and Harry is basically telling him like, hey, you know, explore your options. That's what Mimi's saying, mind you. Mimi's the one telling Samantha to explore her options while she's only talking to Ayo. But, you know, I'm going to talk about Mimi later. Some people in the comments, you know, specifically someone who felt comfortable to take their shoes off in my house, you know, and argue with the host. They told me to get off of Mimi, so I'm not going to get on Mimi today, you know, today, right? So let me move on. Will is talking to Tiffany and Grace, and he was basically asking Grace, like, you know, what's the thing about Joey? Like, what's this thing y'all got about Joey? Do you plan on exploring that? She's like, yeah, I plan on exploring that a little bit. Nicole and Kieran is on the day beds. They outside chilling, and they seem to be reeling from the game last night. Basically, like, they start to question each other's, commitment to each other, right? But Nicole tells him, you have nothing to worry about, and he says, you know what, you have nothing to worry about, too. They assure each other, but I don't believe them. I told y'all, watch Kieran. Because we saw him in the game last episode where he was like, look, I kissed Jess really to get out of kissing Grace. I really want to kiss Grace. And I'm like, I think that's going to come back to bite you, buddy, right? Harriet and Tiffany are talking on the beanbags. They talked about Ronnie and Will, a little small talk, asking her, you know, how long have her and Ronnie been coupled? Talk about Harriet. How long have Harriet and Ronnie been coupled? She's like, we just got together and things like that. And just, and then Harriet says, Will is nice looking, talk about the new bombshells. Joey is talking to Grace at the kitchen bar with Will. He's asking her, how was her night? Talking to Grace. This is Joey talking. They are doing a little small talk, and Samantha is just staring at them from across the lawn. Like, basically, wherever Joey goes, Samantha's eyes is just looking directly at him, right? Joey tells the confessional that he still has feelings for Grace, right? Then all of a sudden, a text comes. The text says that Grace, Tiffany, and Will gets to go away on an overnight stay with an islander of their choice, meaning that they get to choose an islander and they get to go over to Sleepover Island, right? For 24 hours. Will chooses Uma, Tiffany chooses Ronnie, and Grace chooses Joey. Samantha is completely distraught. Like, she's just over she's over Love Island completely. We done took away her joy, her hope, her golden ticket. She thought she could get some sponsors and become like a social media star with Joey. She is completely looking distraught, right? The guys are excited. The guys are in the room doing push-ups. Johnny over here, he humping the ground in some waves and things of that nature. He just like, we get to go to the other island, right? So the couples, as I just named, Will and Uma, Tiffany and Ronnie, and Grace and Joey, right? They arrived on the Sleepover Island. I think that's what it's called, Sleepover Island, right? Samantha is sitting over at the old villa. She's sitting with Nicole and Harriet. She tells them that the past few weeks has been rocky with Joey. Like, basically, like, as I was saying earlier, it's been forced. Why is it this hard? Like, I feel like he doesn't like me. And truth be told, Blair Bear, she's not lying about how she feels. But the thing about it is everybody sees her with Joey so much that it would kind of look weird if she just decided to be like, you know what, Sean, take me out. You know what, Will, take me out. You know what, Ronnie, take me out. She can't go after Ronnie, right? Meanwhile, Joey and Grace are talking about Samantha, right? They are over at Sleepover Island talking about Samantha. And he's basically saying something is missing with Samantha. Like, I know we like coupled up, but something is missing with Samantha. He feels like it's done. Grace asked him, what are you looking for then? He jokingly says, you. She says, what else, right? He said the only reason why it didn't work between us is because you didn't want to move and I didn't want to move. Ronnie is in the corner. He's talking with Tiffany all caught up. Tiffany said, am I your favorite? He just chuckles. You see, that's the thing about Ronnie. Ronnie's going to tell you what he thinks you want to hear. So I would suggest the women not to ask him direct questions because we've seen this man completely ignore a deadline. You feel me? How do you feel about that, Blair Bear? Exactly. You don't like deadlines either. Me neither, right? Joey begins to put on sunscreen on Grace's body. So they move from where they were and they come kind of in the middle of Sleepover Island. And, she's laying on her stomach and he said, okay, I'll put sunscreen on you, right? So he gets the sunscreen out. And I would say for 0.5 seconds, he rubbed her legs and then he just went straight to her booty. I mean, just straight to her behind. She's laying on her stomach. He just put it on her legs. And then all of a sudden, he just there on the butt, right? She's like, my shoulders too. So he's, he begins to put sunscreen on her whole body and things like that. Uma and Will is talking. Now, one thing I can tell you about Will, right? Exactly, Bear. One thing I can say about Will is a smooth talker, right? Even though he was talking to Jess and basically saying, you need a man and I am a man, I would say compared to Sean, compared to Omar, Will is a man, right? And he's talking to Uma, and he's just a smooth talker. He told her that, hey, your eyes are beautiful. She said, oh, thank you. It is just brown. And he said, it's not just brown. It's brown. Basically saying, like, don't downplay your beauty. You're beautiful. When I say you're beautiful, you're beautiful. And then she's like flattered. She's like, thank you. That was very sweet. Back at the villa, right? Nicole, Sam, Harriet, and Sean is at the pool. And they ask Sean, like, how things are going with Jess. He says, man, I'm feeling discouraged. Harriet basically told Sean that I hope she's not using you. And truth be told, she did not say that just out of nowhere. Sean was basically just saying, like, this is how I feel. And he was kind of implementing that I feel like I'm being used. I feel like Jess don't really like me. She just chose me to get back at Ronnie for a tit for tat type of thing, right? And Harriet was basically like, well, I hope for your sake that she's not using you. Io and Mimi is on one day bed and Omar is on the other. And Omar asked them, do you think Kieran would ever turn his head? Like, do you think he would ever like pick somebody else besides Nicole? Will he ever betray Nicole? And Omar begins to explain this theory that I think Kieran has a thing for Grace. And of course, we go back to Sleepover Island. Joey and Grace are in the pool, right? They just in the pool swimming around. And then he tells her, I missed you. And then out of nowhere, they just started making out. I mean, like making out, right? He tells us in the confessional that all these bottled up feelings just spilled out. Then they get out the pool, they go off to the drying off area, and then they started making out again. Like, so this is what it looks like when Joey likes somebody. Because there's no way that you go tell me that Joey, Essex, right, the guy that y'all told me that is famous and things of that nature, the way he was acting with Samantha is how he acts when he likes somebody. It was so evident to everybody in the comments, everybody who watches the show, that he is not feeling Samantha. So him being with Grace, him actually being affectionate and being like, I miss you, like just simple compliments. I remember the episode where Ayo told Samantha that she looked beautiful. I think that like she looked nice and something like that. And Samantha was like, finally somebody said I look beautiful. But Joey has given Grace more compliments in less than 24 hours than he did the whole time that he was with Samantha. Exactly, Blair Bear. That's what I'm saying, right? So, you know, they making out. So now, you know, it's now the part of the evening where, you know, everybody's getting dressed and everybody's getting ready for the evening to sit around, right? While everybody's getting dressed, Joey and Grace are making out again in like the room. And then they start getting dressed and things of that nature. At the Sleepover Island, they have like dinner prepared for them like a banquet where everybody's like this table and everybody got like a dinner, like steak and stuff like that. And they sit down, they start to enjoy themselves. They start to laugh, talk about this is the life, this is fun. Back at the villa, Jess and Sean are talking. And Sean tells Jess that I feel like you only chose me to get back at Ronnie. She's like, who told you that? Jess, does it matter? If it's the truth, it's the truth. Right? She's like, you know, who told you? He's trying to express his heart. Like, I'm doing all these things. This is how I really feel about you. And only thing she hears, like, just tell me who told you my plan that I'm using you to get back at Ronnie. Like, who told you? Was it her? She's basically pointing at Harriet. Was it her? He's like, I honestly can't tell you because it was a discussion amongst the ladies and it was a long conversation. I really can't remember who said it. Right? Of course, she's not listening to Sean about how he feels because in her head, she's like, I'm going to find out who said it, right? So she tries to spin it to Sean, basically try to ease his doubts, right? Saying, look, I'm not using you. I'm not using you. I like you. I'm just using you as I'm just using you basically to get back to Ronnie. That's what she said without saying it, right? She said, I just want to be respected because I've been disrespected and I'm just giving you a chance, right? You're happy you get a chance, right? She walks off, right? And then she storms off, and then she's walking towards Nicole and Samantha. Nicole and Samantha was sitting at like another fire pit. And she's like, who opened their mouth and told Sean that I'm using him to get back at Ronnie? Who said it? Was it her? Point at Harriet again, right? And then that's when like Harriet walks over, and Jess is basically like, was it you? Harriet begins to tell Jess that Sean brought up the subject, not us. Basically like, hey, listen. I understand you have this plan to get back at me. You over here calling me cheap. You over here calling me the B word. You over here doing all these things, right? But at the end of the day, you are the prize, right? You found yourself in this situation, right? Listen, Sean brought this to us. We were just trying to ease his feelings and things like that, saying, I hope she's not doing it. But just, we know you're doing it, right? But back at the sleepover, right, where they having dinner like a banquet, Joey's looking at Uma and he says, Uma, you look like you're glowing. You look like you are happy. What's going on? Uma says she is happy because it feels good to be with someone who wants me. Shots at Ayo. Exactly, Blair Bear. Shots at Ayo. Basically like, hey, I'm happy to be with someone who wants me. Last time I checked, I thought you was coupled up with Omar. Get the boys off the island. Will is a man. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. Dude, you know what's interesting about Will? Will actually reminds me a lot because throughout this episode, we seen Will and Ronnie chilling together a lot. Will is basically Ronnie. And I say, be careful with Will. Be careful with Will because you gonna fall in love with that man and that man is gonna use you and then he gonna move on. Because that's what Love Island's all about, right? So back at the villa, Mimi pulls Kieran for a talk. Y'all realize that she pulls Kieran for a talk. She did not pull Ayo for a talk. She pulls Kieran for a talk. And she asks him, hey, did you talk to Grace yet? She tells him that, hey, word is going around that we know how you feel about wanting to kiss Grace. Kieran's like, oh my gosh. And she's basically telling him like, hey, you may want to get on top of this because if Nicole finds out, she's going to be devastated. He just looks like he saw a ghost. Now, I find it very interesting that Kieran is sitting there minding his business alone and things like that. And Mimi basically approached him, basically like, they go over to the side to talk. And I'm like, hey, now that we see that you are with Ayo, Mimi, where is the scenes? Where is the conversations? Where is the personality? Where is all these things that y'all say Mimi is? I haven't seen it yet. So now she feels like that she got the man, that she could just chill and just, lay back. And besides pulling Ayo for a talk, basically trying to strengthen that connection and things of that nature, she decides to pull Kieran for a talk to basically say, watch out, we know you want to kiss Grace. Mimi, I don't think you're using your time wisely, sweetheart. And Ayo, I'm going to be real with you too. While you over here thinking you're comfortable too, guess what? We going to see how you feel when Will got Uma mouth and nose all open. You know what I'm saying? When you see Will and Uma making out with tongue and all that in front of you and Mimi, we gonna see how you feel about that, Ayo, in like a couple episodes. Omar, we don't care how you feel, brother. We actually want you to leave now because you basically the male patsy now. You're basically another version of Monveer. We want the boys off the island. We're not here for you to figure out theories about who you think is going to turn their heads. Who do you think is going to hook up with who? Who are you going to hook up with, Omar? But let me move on. I don't want to hop on Omar too long. Right? I know Blair Bear, I know you can go for a long time, but I'm gonna stop it right here. Right? So back at Sleepover Island, everyone is just dancing, having a lot of fun. At the villa, Samantha and Harriet is around the fire pit, and she's basically saying, girl, we in trouble. We are in trouble. We are in trouble because Joey and Ronnie are the best guys. And look at us, basically, alone. Someone came and took our best guys. Right? Meanwhile, at the Sleepover Island, Ronnie is talking with Tiffany, cuddled up, and he's like, last time we kissed, it was for a game, but I want to kiss longer than just for 8 seconds. I want to kiss right now, and she starts smiling, she starts feeling off, blushing and stuff, and then they start making out. And I'm not talking about making out, I'm talking about making out, right? Meanwhile, we go back to the villa. And Samantha and Harriet are saying we need someone who would care about our feelings because these guys, that being Joey and Ronnie, do not. And then that's the end of the episode. So let me give you my thoughts. Right? Whoo, Blair. Come back, please. I'm sweating. Right? So here's the thing. Right? Jess. Let me start with Jess. Jess is she's gone. I think so far she's not a fan favorite. I think it's to the point where people are going to rally behind Sean now because we see how evident or how obvious rather it is that you're using Sean to get back at Ronnie. And then we see like you just being mean. So I think that what's going to happen is everybody's going to start to galvanize around Sean, basically saying like, don't let Jess use you. Don't let Jess do that to you. And hopefully, Sean, I hope, because these bombshells might be taken. Grace may be taken by Joey, and Tiffany may fool around and fall into listen, by the end of this, Ronnie may have a love hexagon. It's not going to be a love triangle. He may have a love hexagon, right? But I hope Sean really grows up and he really put his best foot forward. Or maybe it's not for him. Maybe this platform and this format not for him because this is for guys who are intentional. One thing I can compliment Will on is that he was very intentional of talking to majority of the girls, just having a conversation, putting his best foot forward. Some of these conversations Sean is having, it's the first time he talked to these women. I think he just talked to that girl for the first time 2 episodes ago. So I'm like, Sean, the next bombshell that come in, you need to, hey, that's mine. You get what I'm saying? Samantha, you lost your golden ticket. You lost it because now we see what it looks like when Joey likes someone. And we can definitely say Joey do not like you. Harriet, I think you should just enjoy the ride. there's no love interest on here for you. And truth be told, it may not just be for you on this season. Just enjoy the ride. Just see how long you can last being part of this love hexagon with Ronnie. Find some joy in making Jess mad. That's what I would say. Like, find some solace when at the end of the night, Jess can say whatever she want to say. Jess can say, you know what, she's a B, she's cheap, she's sneaky, she's two-faced and all these things. I'm the prize and all these things. She said, I need a man and all these things. But at the end of the night, you're the one in the bed kissing and making out and she's just asleep. Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, she is with Sean. That is her punishment. At the end of the day, when she had the power to pick Ronnie and to basically like forget the deadline, she gave an ultimatum. Ronnie laughed at it and she chose Sean. That is her punishment. You're with Sean, and now you're on the edge of the bed as close as possible, making sure you're not close to Sean. Right? Ayo and Mimi, the show favorite couple. Y'all better be careful because I can very much see Will and Uma being everybody's favorite couple. Because at the end of the day, Will is not boring and Uma is not boring either. So Mimi, you better start talking. You better start giving some personality. Ayo, you too. Listen here, I'm not just gonna jump on Mimi saying she don't talk enough, because as Blair would say, they are each other's speed. So they kind of like this, like they enjoy just sitting next to each other and not saying nothing. That's not for this show. I'm telling you, if things keep going the way they going, I see Uma and Will actually overtaking being the show's favorite couple besides Ayo and Mimi. And truth be told, a lot of people don't even like Ayo. People just like Mimi. And people will just be like, girl, I just want you to make it to basically wherever so you can choose and have a fresh start. But truth be told, without Ayo, Mimi wouldn't have a connection. So we just got to accept Ayo. But I can very much see Will and Uma being number one, because Uma has the beauty and she has the personality to keep us interested. What do you think, Blair Bear? All right, I think so too. Listen here. I will be back tonight, solo dolo, with Blair Bear to do Love Island USA. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. I'll see y'all later tonight. Bye.